Good morning, church family. I hope you're doing well this morning as we start a new week of reading and as we are continuing through the Gospels and through the life of Jesus. And we are almost to the end of Jesus' life. Actually, today we are going to be reading about his crucifixion. And I just want to let you know before you read today that when we consider what's really going on here in this passage, it's a little difficult to read, at least for me it was when I just read over this beforehand, but I'm also so grateful and so thankful for the lasting impact of Jesus' death on the cross. And so our passage today is Luke 23, verses 26 through 49. Luke 23, 26 through 49. And the passage just starts off talking about as they were leading him away and how he was being mocked and how they were picking on him. And then when we get to verse 32, it really explains the scene that was going on. It says there were two criminals who were criminals who were led away to be put to death with Jesus, and they were on his right and on his left. And the people were mocking them, and they were mocking Jesus, and they were telling him, if you're the Son of God, then save yourself. If you are truly God's chosen one, then come down from the cross and save yourself. And here we see, up to the end of his life, the compassion of Jesus. It says in verse 34, and Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Even up to the very end, these people who were putting him to death, he was pleading with the Father for forgiveness because they didn't know that they were killing the Son of God. And so they continued to mock him, and they said, he saved others, let him save himself. If he is the Christ, if he is the chosen one. They offered him sour wine, saying, if you are the King of the Jews, save yourself. And there was an inscription above him that said, this is the King of the Jews. It says, one of the criminals who was hanged beside him said, are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us. But the other rebuked him, saying, do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. And he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. So Jesus was saving even up until his last moments on earth. And it didn't stop there. We know that up until today and until the end of time that Jesus will continue to save. But we see that even in his most painful moment of anguish, that he still had compassion. He still showed forgiveness, and he was still saving people. He told this man beside him that he would see him in paradise. And then in verse 44 it says, it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour, when the sun's light failed, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, calling out in a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And having said this, he breathed his last breath. And then it says, when a centurion saw what happened, he praised to God, saying, certainly this man was innocent. And it says, all the crowds who had assembled went away, beating their chest, and all of his friends and acquaintances and the women who had followed him there stood at a distance, watching these things. And it just proves, when we look at what happened when in the moment that Jesus died, like, can you imagine being there, that in the middle of the day that the sky turns black, that the veil of the temple where the Spirit of God dwelt was torn from top to bottom. I mean, these things were just signs that truly this was Jesus, the Messiah, who had been killed. But we know, as we will read in a few days, that this is not the end of the story, that Jesus did not stay dead, that Sunday came and that he rose and that he is still alive today. But as we reflect on this passage today, I want us to notice Jesus' compassion and forgiveness that he showed all the way up to the end, even in his hardest moments. But I also want us just to reflect on what Christ did for you and me. Just reflect on what he really, truly went through so that you and I could have life and eternal life. And if reading this doesn't encourage you to walk in obedience and to turn from sin in your life, I don't know what will, because Jesus went through it all to make salvation possible for you. And so I hope you've believed in him. I hope that his death has done something for you, that it has been that his grace and salvation offered through his death and resurrection has been applied to you. And so I pray today that as you read Luke 23, 26 through 49, that you just see the true heart of Jesus, and that you see how much he loved you and me to be willing to go to a sinner's cross, to be hung beside criminals where he didn't deserve, as he followed the will of God so that he could save humanity. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you really spend some time digging into this word today in Luke 23, 26 through 49. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning.